All right. Welcome to another podcast interview section of Inside Success, where we sit down with the leaders shaping the future of work and business. So today's guest has spent over 16 years building the HR strategy across Asia as well as the Middle East. And in 2026, she was recognized with the Global Recognition Award for refining the people-centered leadership through HR decentralization, digital innovation, as well as equitable governance. And she currently serves as the HR director, deputy HR director at Rotary Engineering. Please welcome Ms. Um, Parvin Raipathi. Yeah.
Hi.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Ms. Parvin, for being here. I'm excited for today's conversation because your career sits really at the intersection of people, strategy, and the change. Very exciting to have you here today.
I'm happy to be here. Hopefully, I can
Okay,
share some
great.
insights to help
Mm.
the fellow business leaders and HR practitioners out there. Yes.
Wonderful. So let's start at the beginning, Ms. Parvin. What first sparked your interest in your profession, and how did that curiosity evolved into the career that you carry on today?
Hmm. I think for me, unlike many HR professionals, I did not join this profession with the intention of being in human resources. In fact, actually, the passion in developing people was the pull factor for me in being in human resources. Because way back, many years ago, I would not like to release my age, but many years ago, where HR was not really known for strategic or development functions, it was very much administrative, and because of that, there was very little focus on people development. At that
Mm,
time, there was a scenario that I can always share where the business that I was in actually had to transform to use a certain form of digitalization. And because of that, there was an instant decision to remove a certain number of people from the workforce due to inability to know how to use technology for the new innovation that the company was adopting. So that was the first step that sparked in me that, why do we want to let people go? Why don't we give them a second chance? Let's have a training program. Let's try to get them into the groove of the change and see if they can actually live up to it. And if they are not, then it's fine because it's a fair call. But what if they can? And that will be a new skill set that they will have. So that was one story where I started off my so-called learning and development journey in the human resource capacity. Yeah, that was my starting point. Yes.
yes, thank you so much for sharing that story. I think that's a very great foundation. And it's also very interesting how often the spark at the start of the career doesn't look like anything, the title someone ends up holding, right? So I think that brings me to the next question, which I always ask the leaders like you. So every successful leader in their career has a defining chapter in their journey. So, to you, more specifically, which moment do you believe that changed your career forever, and what did it teach you at the end of the day?
Mm. I think the one defining moment that changed my career in human resources is having the right mentor. Mentorship is such a powerful tool when it comes to career development. I think many people, those who have gone through the journey, they will understand what I'm trying to say. But those who have not may think that it's just an exercise of a conversation, not much reality to it. But the fact of the matter is, if you actually find the right mentor throughout your journey, and if you are imparted with the right knowledge and the experience and exposure, it really helps you to understand your role better, and it really
Mhm,
makes things very interesting because they will give you the real life experiences of what they have gone through, and you can learn a
mhm,
lot faster and better knowing that these are strategies that have been practically put in place. It's not
mm,
the textbook theory kind of a situation. So for me,
yeah,
I had two very good mentors in my life, in my
mm,
corporate life, I would say.
Yeah.
First is my HR guru, Elizabeth Tay. She's now in her 80s. She's a retiree, but she's a veteran in Singapore. She has done many government frameworks, working aligned with our government, and she has done a lot of work in terms of competency building, organizational redevelopment, and also in training and development. So she's my first guru that taught me a lot about restructuring, competencies, putting the right person in the right job, psychological behaviors, many things that she had shared with me. And I would say my second mentor that's playing a very critical and very crucial, part in my life is my current employer, my current reporting manager,
Yeah.
which I always say is the most important person in your journey. You must have the chemistry and the strategic alignment with your reporting manager, and that is what I have with mine.
Mm.
And she's also a very good mentor for me, gives complete autonomy, and trust the ability that whatever decisions are being made on the ground, whether is right or wrong. It's a learning process and it's very positively taken. So
Yeah.
one mentor has given me a lot of think tank. Another mentor has given me a lot of space to grow. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very interesting and fascinating, stories that you shared with us. And I do agree with you that having the right people backing you is a very important milestone in your career. And to me, that's considered a wins already to have found some such people in your life. Yeah. And speaking about that, I know that they have given you a lot of opportunities, but I believe that your professional journey has undoubtedly come with also some setbacks. Was there any challenges that completely reshaped the way that you think about leadership or success that you want to share with our audiences here?
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so first and foremost, I'm from the EPC industry, where
Mm,
traditionally is a male-dominated
yeah.
environment. And it is very challenging, and I will say it very openly, it is very challenging for female leaders to hold the fort in the EPC industry.
Mm,
Not being said in terms of biasness or anything like this, but I guess it's a lot more on the comfort level, that because majority are men, so when ladies start to say something which is not the lingo of what they are used to, it's usually brushed aside. So, in my journey in EPC space, I would say that I had a huge challenge in convincing stakeholders on my capability and also on the way that I'm thinking, which is traditionally not the same as per how
mm,
usually it's being done. So, came up with a lot of conventional ideas. I would say I'm blessed that some are very open to change and some are a little bit rigid, but this was a good experience for me because it taught me how to actually manage different stakeholders at different levels.
mm,
Sometimes we think that our toughest stakeholders are the guys at the top. But in my experience, I would say my toughest stakeholders are the guys in the middle, actually, because they are
mm,
going through the most difficult situation in their own space, where they are meeting the requirements of the top and they are also managing the guys at the bottom. So they are in the most crucial stage, and any change affects them directly. So I really had a huge experience working with them and trying to implement change. And one thing that being in the EPC space has taught me is never to give up. I have seen
mm,
many times, we have gone through many challenges during COVID, and now even with this geopolitical situation, and I'm situated now here in Abu Dhabi. I have never seen a day pass where someone from the senior or even from the most junior at our worker level saying that I give up, I do not want to be here. I think
yeah.
everyone comes into this industry with a very resilient mindset. So this has
Mm,
also changed the way I think, because usually being a Singaporean, I think the first thing that I do is think about safety, and safety for the people, safety for the space that we are working in. And I see the resilience and I see the passion in people, and that has changed the way I view safety for our workforce. So EPC has changed me in that manner. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very fascinating because usually people associate leadership with the titles, but I think great leaders, they often influence people regardless of position.
Yes.
So with all that experiences and, like journey that you've been through, Parvin, how would you summarize or describe your leadership style in 3 words and why?
In 3 words, it's very tough. I will try.
Yes.
uh, Firstly, I think if it's in 2 words, I will say people first.
Mm,
Yeah, because to me, that's the most important thing in any industry. Right now, we are in a huge challenge where we are faced with a different generation workforce. And
yeah.
we have got, baby boomers, Generation X, Generation Y, millennials, and everybody's together. And it's very tough to manage, and leaders really need to be resilient. They need to be adaptable. They need to be active listeners. They need to be flexible at the right time, at the right place. So leadership is people first with a
Mm.
soft boundary where you need to know where you stand in terms of your values and you align that to taking care of the people that are working with you. So that is a delicate balance that the leaders have to uh, carry out today. Yes.
Yes, that's very interesting. I love that. It's a style being tested right now, more than ever. And because the environment of leaders are operating in are shifting so rapidly, as you just said. So speaking of that change, I think it's not only like business work, but also affecting HR is how technology, digital transformation, and changing
Yes.
customer expectations are affecting all of us.
Yes.
So to you personally, which changes excite you the most in the HR
Mm,
space and which one
mm.
concerns you the most?
Yeah, I think I will talk about the concern first is about the
Yes.
implementation of AI. I think it's
Sure.
overhyped too much, I
Sure.
guess. And
Mm,
many of our HR guys, they are completely overwhelmed by this whole AI concept because they have been given an agenda to implement AI into their work processes, business strategies,
mm,
and we are all feeling our way through. Eventually, I would say that it's so important to understand your business and to see the relevance of AI in it. AI may not be applicable to every single process or scenario or business strategy. So it's
mm.
okay not to adopt AI to some level. You don't need to go 100% into it. And
Yeah.
this is something that I advise all our HR practitioners, to really look at it practically, operationally, whether does it really help you to implement AI and how much of a plus point you will have in implementing artificial intelligence is a question because
Mm,
many a times we are using AIs, for example, to screen CVs. How effective are we in that? Are we missing out good resumes because the AI did
mm,
not capture the right words, because we did not implement the right words? There are many instances like this, which I
mm.
felt that it's a good thing, but maybe implemented at a very large scale may not be something that is every company should go for. So you should take a very
Yeah.
practical approach. So to me, AI is a two steps back kind of a think carefully, a strategy for a company to think about. And for me, the good thing about technology, which I have personally fronted and implemented in the organization, is trying to digitalize reporting and dashboards, because I think more so in human resources, the missing part about it is we do so much of work, but our reporting and our information generation doesn't seem to be very clear for decision makers to make a precise decision. So
Yeah.
that part was something that I felt that it was good to implement. You give people a very clear overview of what's going on through data, and then they can make an informed decision for changes or new strategies for the business.
Yes, that's very interesting. And at the end of the day, I mean, no matters how many technologies we're using, HR at the end of the day is still people management. And I think it circle back to the values that you mentioned as a leader. You always value the people first,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah, so from your own experience, I think you've worked with so many people from different backgrounds and experiences. So what are some of the lessons that you learned about building trust and leading diverse team from your
Mm.
past experience?
Yeah, I think these days building trust is a very tough task for a leader. More so because leaders are torn between doing what is right for the organization and doing what's right for the people. And sometimes, in the pursuit of all this, you may make decisions that may be unfair to either to the organization or either to the people. And then you lose the trust in either one of those stakeholders, and then everything else falls out after that. To me personally, I feel the only way to really mitigate this is keeping an open and transparent conversation with everyone involved in all the stakeholders, whether it's your senior management, whether it's your employee, whether it's your team member, whether it's your peer. It's so important to be transparent with what you are trying to communicate. And as much as possible, whatever you're communicating, consistency of implementing what is being communicated is so important to build trust. These days, what's
Mm,
happening is we may have many meetings discussing some 15, 20 points, and we may end up not even implementing five. So these are
right.
things which, really makes people question that, no, what's the point of me telling you this if this is what's going to happen? So
Mm.
the output and the consistency with what we discuss is not aligned. So I think that's the part that as leaders, we can enhance, in terms of communicating transparently and sticking to consistently working and sticking to those things and showing the people that there is an outcome to what has been shared. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think trust like that isn't built in the boardroom alone. It's built with being transparent and consistent with what has been communicated throughout. Yeah, so if you can just share, sit down for a coffee, let's say, with a younger self at the start of your career,
Yeah.
Parvin, what's
Yeah.
some of the piece of advices would you like to offer to your younger self as well as to the emerging leaders out there who wants to step into this HR industry?
Yeah, I think for me personally, I feel that I would offer myself the advice of being more patient, with things that are going around. I would offer myself with advice to be a little bit more flexible when things are not going as per plan.
Yeah.
Sometimes we really feel that very strongly about a subject matter and it's not going according to that. And then you start to feel that, why am I here? Why am I doing this? What's the objective? What's the outcome? So I think patience and flexibility is what advice I would give myself, my younger self. Yeah.
Yes, that's a very interesting perspective. Yeah, being patient with yourself. Yeah, so looking ahead, what kind of impact that you want to make over the next 5 to 10 years? I mean, like the legacy that you want to build and leave behind, both professionally and personally.
Mm. Professionally, I would really want to build a strategic HR team, which I'm currently in the midst of doing so. I feel very strongly about the fact that people often view HR as an administration function, and we can actually do a lot more in terms of supporting the business, in terms of strategies and, enforcing the certain policies and procedures where businesses can really flourish. And it is a very powerful function, which I believe has been underrated for a significant amount of time. So to me personally, I think professionally, I would love to build more strategic HR people around me, people who share a similar intention and passion to do more than just administration, to really understand people, dynamics, business strategies, putting all those together and really giving the value add to the business. That is my professional goal one day. I hope that I can achieve that 101%, which is a very appealing task, but let's try. So that's professional. I think on a personal level, I would think that I'm blessed to be surrounded by people who have been supportive and who have been very kind towards me, including my team in Rotary Group in all the different countries, all the HR personnel. They have been in the organization for many years, and I feel they are very accommodating and flexible. If you come to think of it, different ways of working and all coming together to have one common goal. So personally, I think I'm fine. There's nothing much that I would like to achieve from that perspective, more so on professional, because I think that's the most important thing at the moment for supporting the business. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that vision is worth sitting with. And on that note of impact, we've reached a question I like to ask every guest before they go. So we like to end this episode with this one question. If your journey could inspire one person listening today to take the next step toward their
Mm,
dream, what kind of
mm,
message would you leave them with?
mm. I would say don't be afraid of change. Always keep learning. because all of us are learning till today. 18 years, 20 years, 25 years. Society is such that whenever a senior person comes into the room, he has the usual pressure of living up to expectations of the title that he's holding. But the truth of the matter is that every single person, no matter you can be even the president of a country, also, you are still learning every day. And that is
Yeah,
the openness and the humbleness that I believe everyone should have. So continue learning, and just don't be afraid of change. Don't be intimidated by new things like AI. So I
sure.
think, yeah, these are things that it's important to keep in mind. Yeah.
Yes. Parvin, thank you so much for being generous with your story today. From the spark that started your career to the moments that redefined your leadership, as well as the vision that you are carrying forward to. Yeah, it's been a very great conversation, and I hope you feel the same for our audiences here as well. Yeah.
Yes, yes, definitely. I'm so happy to have this sharing session. I hope whatever I say today inspires someone to make a change and to do something better. Yeah.
Wonderful. And to everyone's listening, thank you so much for tuning in into Inside Success podcast. If this conversation resonates with you, please share it to the next one who like to hear it, and we'll like to see you next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day. Bye bye. Yeah.